Hey guys, it's Heather the Crochet Witch. How are you guys doing today? Welcome to day 8 of Vlogtober. It has been a heck of a day, let me tell you what. This has not been a great start to the month as far as work goes, but it's okay because again, I'm home and I'm hanging out with you guys, and that's all that matters. I got a really late start to today's Vlogtober, so I'm going to try to keep it down again. Like, hopefully you've noticed that most of them have been under an hour this time. But I am going to try. Just today has been, we had so much business going on. Like, we're outnumbered at work, let me say that. And yeah, it's just been a heck of a day. Had some trouble with some coworkers. Just not been a fun day, let's just say. But I only have one more day and I'm off, so yay. And it's gotten colder here. I don't know if your neck of the woods has gotten colder, or if you're on the other side of the globe, maybe you guys are starting to warm up yet. I don't know, like if your weather's changing, I guess. But like, I am unpleasable, I guess. No, I'm not, I can't deal with the summer heat. And no, that's not me. But I also get cold very quickly, like very quickly. I have my whole life. Doesn't matter what weight I am, doesn't matter anything. It's not even like, I don't think it's getting worse with age, just I've always gotten cold really quickly. But I do prefer that to being too hot, because I would rather like be in front of like a, even like a heater, because at my work desk I keep like a electric heater going all the time when I'm out there, because David's like a very strict with the heat, kind of like a heat Nazi. That's what my friend calls him, a heat Nazi. But, and that's fine, because like our heating bill has been crazy for like at different times of the year, obviously, but I mean, in different years, it's just been crazy. So I understand that. But Heather gets cold and it's starting to get like cold really quick. I need to do some more filming outside so I can show you guys how quickly the leaves have turned here. They're so pretty, and like every time I walk outside, there's it's like one night we had just a couple like leaves in the yard, and then all of a sudden poof, like it may not be like so many, there's like a carpet of them, but there's a lot. Yeah, so I'm not complaining about that either. I love my fall aesthetics and everything, so I just have like, I have a bad chill tonight. That's why I brought up the weather. Like I got a bad chill. I've even been sitting out there in front of my heater crocheting, because I'm trying to finish the piece that I'm on right now for my movie marquee blanket, so then I can do the video, because I'm very late getting it out as it is. I figure I'll either do that tonight or I'll do it tomorrow. It'll be out within a day or so. But I'm really excited about what I've been working on for it. I can't wait to show you guys. I just want to get this piece done first. And I've been watching the Ring of Power, on Amazon Prime, the Lord of the Rings show that's on. I've got to say, I am even more sad that I waited for Damon only to find out that he was watching it without me. Because I've been missing out. Have any of you guys watched it? Oh my gosh, I'm so in love with it. Like, I loved the story before the story anyway, with the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit and everything. So like getting to watch this and realizing like who the characters were, and I am just in love. Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit have always been like comfort movies for me. Like, I know I do watch a lot of horror movies for like comfort, and like stuff like The Lost Boys, and obviously I watch Stranger Things, but that's TV. But yeah, Lord of the Rings has always been a really big like comfort movie for me too. So like if I'm sick a lot of the times, or sad, I'll like burrito myself up and turn on Lord of the Rings. So pretty excited to be watching it. If you are watching it, what do you guys think? I am not fully caught up yet. I've been binge watching after work each night. I'll probably catch up by tomorrow. I don't know how many episodes there's going to be all in total, so I'm not sure like how far into the season we are, but like I guess I can look that up. I just haven't yet, but I'm very excited. I don't want it to end. But yeah, so that has been my day in a nutshell, basically. What are you guys' days been like? Did you have a good Friday? I know this is the Saturday Vlogtober, but it's still my Friday night. So like, did you have a good start to the weekend? Are you having a good start right now on a Saturday as you're watching this? I'll probably be very busy at work soon when you're watching this. But yeah, just thought I'd check in on you guys. Hopefully we all get some lovely crocheting or knitting or spooky movie watching or all of the above time this weekend. That would be lovely. Oh, I have like a headache too. It's starting like in my jaw. It's when I know the migraines are starting. It's not like oh, in my teeth or anything. It's for my whole life. It's been like my jaw. I think I clench it or something too tightly when I get stressed out. So I know migraine's coming along with my, like, I've been really like stuffy and like, you know, like sniffy, and I have the chills now. So I better not be getting sick. It better just be the chills because it's a cold night and, you know, like some allergies happening for the other stuff. We're going to go with that. I am not getting sick. I'm not getting a cold. We're good. So anyway, I want to open up one of these lovely Universal Monster capsules that I have here. We're down to 4. So this Sunday when I go grocery shopping, hopefully they still have them, and I'm going to pick up some more. Maybe I'll put them in a bowl too, so it's not like just a bunch of crinkly packaging going on. So I'm sorry for those of you that are annoyed by that. But here we go. So I've gotten some, and they're just stuff like if you were to put, I've said it before, if you were to put like quarters in a machine and get the little capsule, that's kind of the thing you get. Like I've gotten this keychain. I'm literally just waiting, like I guess till I'm out of these so I don't have to show these. Oh, I don't have to now, but so I don't feel the need to show these anymore. And then I'm totally like putting that keychain to use. This is a magnet of the mummy that's going on my fridge or upstairs where my Stranger Things stuff is too, on that metal shelf that I was showing you guys. I might put it there. This Bride of Frankenstein pin I am totally putting on one of my project bags. And I don't know where yet, but I will find a cool place for my Wolfman sticker. I'm wearing my Dracula bracelet still. I don't think I'll ever take it off. So there's just cool little like trinkety things in here that are themed with the Universal Monsters. So let's pop this bad boy open. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't know what they originally meant this to be, but... Well, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I just realized what it was. Hold on. Let me get crinkly packaging out of the way. So what I got was another Dracula. I do believe that is Bela Lugosi-esque vampire here. So we have a Dracula head. And it is on... I realized, like, after I said it, it's on this, it's a zipper pull or whatnot. So actually that can go on whichever project bag I put my Bride of Frankenstein pin on. I love it. Isn't it cool? When I first saw it, it was like tucked like this, and I was like, you guys, I got a stitch marker. With that clip might be it's just like a really cheap little clip, so it might not work too well for a stitch marker, but that's okay. I'm totally putting that on my project bag as a zipper pull. I love it. See, just little things make me happy. Forgot all about work for a second there. So, moving on, I am also doing a Stranger Things themed series where I have written down in my L notebook. a bunch of like theories, predictions, things like that, for either the upcoming season 5 or like to explain things that have happened throughout the universe. A lot of them have to do with like season 4 to 5. Some of them are like my own thoughts or ideas that I just wanted to like bring up, and some of them are things that have been like all over the interwebs. So we've talked about a lot of different people, a lot of different things going on, and like I said, each day I left my pen out there. Is this a pen? I have another pen. We're safe. We're safe, because I like to mark them off so I don't forget and end up talking about the same thing with you guys. Let's see. All right, and in the best interest of keeping it short tonight, I'm going to do this one. This is going to be another one, I think. But so the theory is that this has been around since season 1. I just threw it in here because I don't know. Well, you'll see in a minute. So the theory is Will is actually Hopper's son. I even put, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I even put like 3 question marks there. Will is Hopper's son? What? So let me mark that off. First of all, let me just say what a turn of events that would be, right? I mean, I guess it's possible, because they're really pushing this whole Jopper thing, right? And originally in like season 1 and 2, they talked more about like Hopper and Joyce talked more about like, oh, you remember when we used to skip class and smoke cigarettes? Like this, they had like this friend vibe going on. And then suddenly, I know I've talked about this, like I talked about this last year when I was like opening my yarn advent too, but I dislike how guys and girls in shows can't just seem to be friends. They can't just seem to be. Well, they're doing an amazing job with Robin and Steve, in my opinion. I'm a little off topic here. And I know that that's because of sexual preferences happening. One of them just isn't going to be into the other anyway. But that's the thing. They had to put that caveat. Is that the right word for that? I think it is. We're going to go with that and pretend that I know what I'm talking about and that I'm smart and know big words. But they had to put that in there, right? That clause, that's a good word. They had to put that clause in there. Because apparently they just couldn't both be interested in members of the opposite sex and be friends, which, because like Steve was interested in, well, he had to be kind of coerced into it, right? In season 3. But ultimately at one point he was basically admitting that he was into her. And then that's when you found out that she was not into him and why. But like, aside from the fact that they had to put that like reason in there, the actual friendship that they have is so cool. Like, I think they did such a great job, you know, just creating this close, tight friendship. And I thought that's the way they were going with, and this is actually not just because I'm like, Hopper is mine or anything like that, but because he's a fictional character, obviously. We all know it's David Harbour that's mine. But anyway, I thought that's where they were going with it, and I was like so into that because I could just picture like them being like the best of friends like back in high school, and seeing them do stuff like, you know, skipping class and smoking cigarettes and running away from teachers who catch them, and just, you know, getting into all sorts of trouble and mischief and all that. And all of a sudden, kind of put back in each other's lives, because like, okay, Hopper was chief of police back in Hawkins, newly chief of police, might I add. He'd only been there like a year or two, back from his detective job in the city. He was kind of reclusive because he was taking his time to heal. Well, try to heal. He still had not fully healed in season 1. We all saw that. But he was trying to heal, and or at least not be social and keep to himself. He, like, his goal might not have been, I'm trying to heal, but I'm saying he kind of was setting up a basis for healing, to get past like his divorce and his daughter passing away and everything. And then suddenly season 1 happens and Joyce and him end up back in each other's lives. And I just thought like that was so cool that they were exploring like the friendship thing with an older pair of people also, not just with the younger kids. And it was that chance to really show you can be friends, and it's, you know, like it doesn't have to be, oh, well, they showed interest, so, you know, they're going to hook up eventually. I don't know. That irritates me so much. It does. But that being said, where I was kind of going with it was they, you know, they were the best of friends. And like, since now they are exploring the whole, like it seems like Hopper's just always had a crush on Joyce, and maybe she's always had a crush back. And it's and Lonnie, Will's dad, he just had no interest. He had no interest in the kids to begin with, but I feel like he maybe tried a little more with Jonathan. Maybe, like, at least in the beginning. Jonathan pretty much rebelled and was like, nope, you're an awful dad. Give you the finger, I'm out of here. Kind of, you know, that was his attitude. And, you know, no judgment on that. But that being said, I feel like that's my phrase today. That being said, but Lonnie really had he no call, no showed on Will all the time. He tried to force him to do things he didn't want to do. He was just not a good dad. Like, he didn't even seem to care that Will was missing. And then once they thought he was dead, when the body popped up that was, you know, turned out to be fake and all that, he basically just used all of that as a big excuse to try to make money off of it. And like, yes, that could just be proving that Lonnie's a scumbag, but it could also be that he didn't care for Will the way that he would have cared if it was Jonathan or something, because Will is actually not his kid. Maybe he knew it. Maybe he suspected it. You know, maybe he was like, Jim Hopper and my wife were very close at one point. You know what I mean? You know, like, I mean, maybe. But I'm really not convinced of that because, I don't know, Joyce seems like a very upfront person. I don't think she would have hid that fact from Hopper or even hid it from like the kids or anything, from her kids. So I think that it's like, in my opinion, it is probably a no. But the supportive stuff, and I know this is why people kind of jumped on it, aside from the whole like Hopper and Joyce aesthetic, was that he obviously was very invested. But I think that was just him coming out of his I don't really care cop phase and taking the reins and being in control of, you know, I want to be a good sheriff. Why would this happen on my watch? Like, I need to find this kid. I do care about this kid. And then when he was fully like pulled into the whole like stranger happenings thing, I think that was just his, like, he was in Vietnam, or he was he was a crime detective, obviously, in New York City. He was a homicide detective. So he was always like fighting bad, unknown kind of things, right? And he was always in the front lines in Vietnam, and like used to being at war. So I think his just like battle instincts kicked in once he realized there was an enemy to be had. So I don't necessarily think it was like him, oh, this is my kid, and even if nobody knows, I know, and I'm going to protect him, or, you know, I don't think that was it at all. Me personally, I don't think that Will is his kid. What do you guys think? Do you think that there's a possibility of it, or do you think it's just absolutely not? Or like, are you on the fence? Or I think it's a hard no from me. Like, I do see where people are coming from with it, but I think it's a hard no. But anyway, so that concludes the Stranger Things theory for the day. If you have an opinion, make sure to leave it down below. I really love the talk about it that we are getting here. I love just reading everybody's theories and thoughts on the topic for the day. So please comment and tell me what you think. The other thing that I wanted to do for the month is I don't know what that was, like shuffle. What I wanted to do, I have no idea. I'm tired. What I wanted to do for the month was try to bring you some spooky, creepy story for each day. I don't want to make everything too long. And I honestly got so swept up in the day that I didn't prepare one that wasn't a personal story. So I'm going to give you guys the next like creepy story from my childhood. And it'll be a short one, but I found it very creepy. Like I was probably 6 or 7, maybe 8 when this happened. I wasn't very old, but I was older than the first encounter. What did I say? It was probably about 4 or 5 when the first one happened, that I remember anyway. So, story time. You remember I said I had already had some like freaky deaky stuff happening, where the cabinet had slowly swung open and I did see a face peering out at me, and like the night that the musical, the xylophone thing was playing on its own, like somebody was pulling it along. So like I already knew that like weird things were happening. Not an every night thing or anything like that. I wasn't like, oh, I haven't had a decent night's sleep in, 5 months because of all this stuff happening. It wasn't anything like that. It wasn't like freaking out my family and we were all sleeping together in the living room or any, nothing like that. But when I was 6 or 7 or so, I would say, okay, so I explained to you before that there was like the house that my grandparents lived in where I was raised. There was a guest house over here that my grandpa had built. So there was like the washer and dryer was over here, and there was a path in between the two places, right? We lived on a blueberry farm. My grandpa it was his life's work was blueberry farming. So house, path. Then there was another path, like kind of making a T that went out to, we always called it the old packing shed because it's where you would sort blueberries, pack them up, because we would pack the really good blueberries by hand and put them in cellophane. We had crates. I remember this because this was like one of my first jobs for my grandparents was once they were sorted, I got to pour them into these, like from the nice buckets. I had to pour them into these green cardboard like crates like you'd probably see at a grocery store getting your fruit. And then we had a big square of cellophane that we had to lay right on top of it. And we had this, it was like an open square. It almost looked like a loom. And we would take it and fit it over the top and push it down. So it was like pushed down like perfectly. And then I had a rubber band around that. So it was, sealed up, right? Those were the blueberries. And then we had to pack those up and take those to the guy in town that bought them and stuff. So that was our good berries, our pints and stuff like that. So that's what happened in this shed. It was otherwise like during the fall, winter, everything, it was just kind of storagey. Like the farm equipment we didn't end up using, the smaller farm equipment would get like put in there before the big doors got shut and everything. They had like big double open doors that would open. And it was just, like I said, just storage basically. So one winter, like is definitely winter. The snow was falling. It was very cold. I was playing outside. It was starting to get dark. So kind of that weird like twilighty time, that I super love now. But that was always like the signal, like, to come inside too, right? It was right around that time. And so I told you the paths were like it met in a T, and the other path went out to the shed. Okay. So I'm out playing, playing in the snow, like doing whatever I was doing as a kid playing. And I hear a man's voice. I assumed it was my grandpa out behind the shed because we kept things behind the shed too, like piles of blueberry lugs and like some bigger farm equipment and just different things back there. So not out of the realm of possibility at all that my grandpa was there. So I hear, hey, Heather. And I'm kind of looking around at first, and I realize where it's coming from. And I look over by the shed, and I'm like, Grandpa? And there's like silence for a minute, and then I hear again, I mean, and very clear voice. Like it was definitely, there was no questioning, like, oh, it could have been a different sound. Very clear voice. And I hear again, like, Heather, can you hear me? Come here. So I thought my grandpa needed me, you know, for help or whatever. So I'm looking around, and I was trying to like follow his tracks in the snow, but there was, I mean, my grandpa came and went and everything from the shed daily. And of course, it was starting to snow. So like they were starting to cover up. So I didn't really pay attention to the fact whether there was footprints leading out there, not leading out there, or whatever. And I start walking down the path that I knew was under the snow. So I start walking in the direction of the shed. And I paused again. And I heard him call my name again, a third time, you know. So I was like, I'm coming, you know. I mean, like, what's my grandpa being so impatient about, you know? So I start to take off again, and all of a sudden, the door to the house that we live in flies open, and my grandma's on the porch. And she's like, Heather, what are you, you know, she's calling to me, obviously, because I'm partway across the yard. And, you know, she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, Grandpa's calling me, so I'm gonna go help Grandpa, you know. And I turned again because I was gonna take off, and she stops me again, you know, and she's like, Heather. And I turn around, and of course, like what, Grandma? You know, like I got one grandparent yelling at me to get out there, and I have one grandparent yelling to keep me away from there, apparently. So I'm getting like, what is going on kind of vibes going here. And so I'm like, what? You know, like I need to go help. He's calling for me. And my grandma, just the look on her face, it's like when people say like all the colors drained from someone's face, my grandma was like that. And she was like reaching out to me, and she said, get over here right now. And I've rarely heard this like voice so stern, like the way she said it and everything. And I must have like paused for a minute, kind of like, but Grandpa, you know. And she said, she used my middle name, which I don't even tell people. So I mean, it was, if she used my middle name, she meant business. So, you know, she's like, get over here right now. So I go over there because in my head I'm thinking like she could explain to Grandpa why I didn't come out there and help her then, or help him then, you know, like. And I get to the porch, and I'm climbing up the stairs because it was like a wooden deck, really, when I say porch. I'm climbing up the stairs, and I'm like starting to ask her, like, Grandpa needs me, like, what do you want, you know? And she said, get in the house right now. Your grandpa's asleep on the couch. Look at, can you guys see the goosebumps? Like every time I tell one of my own stories, because it happened, you know, like I'm most definitely not making that up. And I know I was probably only like 2 or 3 feet from the door, but I ran in that house. Like I didn't know what to think. And the more I think on it now, like I don't even think there were footprints leading like from the house to out to the packing shed or anything like that. So what was calling me out, and what would have happened if I went out there? I don't know, you guys, but that one was probably the second scariest thing that's ever happened to me. The first still being my St. Louis experience, which I will get to one of these days. But yeah, I just, like, every time I think about it, I get creeped out because, I mean, it definitely knew my name. It definitely was very adamant about wanting me to come out there and basically behind, because I wouldn't have been able to be seen from the house at all, from either house, because the shed was just right in the middle, like of a T. So I would have been behind that. And the only thing between, like, the only thing other than that, there was like the shed and then just this big blueberry field, which had no leaves on it or anything at the time. It was fairly easy to see through. But yeah, I mean, something was definitely calling my name. So, I don't even know. Like, I don't know what it could have been or who it could have been or why, like what they wanted. I don't know, but it was definitely creepy. But yeah, that was my creepy story time. I hope that creeped you out as much as it definitely creeped me out telling it to you guys. So, on that note, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get this uploading and I'm gonna hopefully finish the piece before bed that I need to finish before I make my movie marquee video. So I will see you very soon, you guys. I love you. Stay spooky. All right. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.